If you've ever wondered why your homemade pizza tastes almost like your favorite slice shop, it's probably the sauce doing the heavy lifting. Today's countdown locks in the best store-bought pizza sauces from 5 to 1, so you can nail that pizzeria flavor at home, every time. Number 5. Stonewall Kitchen Classic Pizza Sauce. This one comes off the shelf sounding fancy, balsamic-kissed, herb-laced, and definitely not shy about its seasoning, which makes the first spoonful feel gourmet and restaurant-ready. You know, in that sweet meets savory way that hits right away on the tongue. The ingredient panel reads like a pantry snapshot: plum and diced tomatoes, basil, pure cane sugar, balsamic vinegar, dried onion and garlic, and a touch of red pepper flake, so there's undeniable complexity built in before it ever sees your crust. On a quick-bake thin crust, that sweetness can help balance pepperoni's salt and spice. And it does make a mean bruschetta base when you want a zippy tomato note without simmering your own sauce from scratch, which, well, is a win on a weeknight. But here's where it gets tricky. The balsamic and sugar combination can tip sweet, especially if your topping's already lean sugary. Think caramelized onions or sweet Italian sausage. And after baking, the sweetness concentrates, which may crowd out subtle cheese notes if you're using fresh mozzarella or a delicate fior di latte. There's also a perceptible saltiness that some store pages and reviews hint at. For salt-sensitive palates, the overall profile might feel a bit loud, a bit jarred, especially compared to simpler tomato-forward sauces on this list. If you like punchy, rounded, almost pasta sauce vibes on pizza, this is fun. If you crave lean, clean tomato snap, this won't be your forever jar. 4. Fiorella's Pizza Sauce. Fiorella's pitches a thick, smooth, no-nonsense pizza sauce. Tomatoes, basil, water, garlic, spices, with no preservatives or artificial sweeteners, which sets expectations for a cleaner, kitchen-made feel and a texture that clings nicely to dough without running. On a par-baked crust, that thicker body keeps the middle from sogging and lets cheese set before the sauce bleeds, which is great for home ovens that can't blast past 550 degrees Fahrenheit. And, well, it makes beginner pies look pro. The flavor reads fresh-herbed, basil-forward, and pleasantly tomato-first, which works beautifully under a classic low-moisture mozzarella and a sprinkle of pecorino to sharpen the finish. Now the but. The minimalist ingredient list is a double-edged sword. Without olive oil or a defined acid lift, the baked flavor can flatten if your cheese blend is mild, and you may find yourself reaching for finishing oil or a pinch of salt post-bake to wake it up. Also, availability can be spotty. Some retailers list it as temporarily out of stock, so consistency of supply is a real-world factor if you fall in love and want a reliable weekly pizza night staple, which, yeah, is frustrating when it becomes part of your routine. If you like to tweak, it's a great canvas. If you want open and perfect, it needs a nudge. That said, the clean profile makes it a sleeper hit for margarita nights and veggie-forward pies. Cherry tomatoes, torn basil, and a light olive oil drizzle turn it into a bright, almost garden-fresh experience. 3. Bianco DiNapoli Organic New York-Style Pizza Sauce. This one is a mic drop for ingredient nerds. Organic tomatoes, organic garlic, organic basil, organic extra virgin olive oil, and sea salt, full stop, which reads like a chef's mise en place and bakes into that classic New York balance of bright acidity, savory garlic perfume, and clean olive oil richness. The mouthfeel is silky, yet not heavy, more crushed tomato energy than puree, so it spreads thin, bakes fast, and lets the crust and cheese speak. You know, that less is more confidence you taste at slice counters that trust their dough. On a steel at 525 to 550 degrees Fahrenheit, the sauce caramelizes at the edges just a touch, popping the basil and garlic while staying remarkably tomato-true, which is exactly what you want under a low-moisture mods and shake of oregano. There are occasional buyer comments about runnier cans or batch variants. Tomatoes are agricultural, after all, but the core profile is reliably restrained, which makes it incredibly easy to pair with salty toppings like anchovy or prosciutto without tipping into muddiness. If you're chasing that foldable NY slice vibe at home, this checks all the boxes. Clarity, balance, and a finish that doesn't fight the cheese pull, And I mean that first bite when the oil slick kisses your lip, chef's kiss. It's also certified organic and produced in California, aligning with shoppers who want clean, transparent sourcing without sacrificing pizzeria authenticity on the bake. Two, Pomi Pizza Sauce. Pomì leans on premium Italian tomatoes with a short, savory roster. Tomatoes, olive oil, salt, oregano, bay leaf powder, pepper powder, garlic, giving you a ready-to-use sauce that feels unmistakably Italian and very pizza-specific, not repurposed pasta sauce. On the spoon, it's balanced and aromatic. On the bake, the oregano and bay leaf deliver that classic pizzeria perfume the moment it hits heat, which sets the stage for everything else on top to taste more pizza, if that makes sense. It just cues the brain perfectly. The nutrition panel shows a modest 180 milligrams sodium per 1/4 cup and only 3 gene total sugars, 0 added, so the flavor feels savory without a sugary lean, which helps cheeses taste cleaner and meat toppings avoid the too salty pile-on. Texture-wise, it spreads evenly and grips dough, reducing under-cheese slip that can lead to bald spots after a big cheese melt. On Detroit-style or grandma pies, it's sturdy enough to ladle post-bake for that red-on-top effect without running all over the place, which is a big plus for pan pizza fans. Because the seasoning is purposeful but not heavy, it flexes for simple margaritas or fuller, delicace pies alike, and it consistently respects the crust, which home bakers notice the second they cut the first square. Clean edges, no gloop. If you want a straight-from-carton solution that nails Italian pantry without tinkering, Pomì is a workhorse. Add nothing for a classic pie, or bloom a pinch of chili flake and brush the rim with garlic oil for a pizzeria-level finish that tastes intentional rather than corrective. Number 1. Yo Mama's Foods Keto Classic Pizza Sauce. Top spot goes to Yo Mama's for putting clean label minimalism and rich, slow simmer flavor in the same jar. Fresh tomatoes, roasted garlic, fresh onions, white wine, basil, olive oil, salt, oregano, black pepper, no added sugar, no gums, no preservatives, and it's keto, paleo, vegan, gluten, and dairy-free. The magic is the small batch approach, plus the white wine and roasted garlic. On bake, it blooms into a layered, restaurant-style savoriness that feels slow-cooked without tasting heavy. So the sauce supports rather than smothers the pie's other elements, which, well, is exactly what great pizza sauce should do. With no added sugar, the sweetness comes only from tomatoes and aromatics, keeping the finish clean and letting mozzarella taste milky and real, while pepperoni or mushrooms stay distinct and not syrupy. With no added sugar, the sweetness comes entirely from ripe tomatoes and roasted aromatics, which keeps the finish clean and lets mozzarella taste milky, while pepperoni stays punchy and not cloying. You know, that crisp, savory finish that makes you nod after the first bite. The texture is right in the Goldilocks zone, spreadable but not watery, so it bakes evenly on steel or stone without creating soupy pockets. And the olive oil content helps carry flavor while encouraging those tiny caramelized edges that make a pie feel restaurant, which, well, is what everyone wants at home. The label also ticks boxes for modern diets. Outro. So there it is, the lineup that takes you from good jar to wow, is this delivery without babysitting a simmering pot. And the biggest shift you'll taste is how the top 3 let your crust and cheese actually shine instead of masking them, which, is kind of the whole point of pizza.